Hello friends, it's Corn Day. If you're new here, my name is Marta and I moved back to my hometown last summer and started homesteading and buying food from local farmers. So every year my parents and siblings have gathered a couple days out of the year to preserve food together. They do a corn day, a tomato day, and an applesauce day. And last year we got to be part of Corn Day for the first time, and now here we are again. We've circled back around. We're at my parents' house today, and as you could see from the view, they are surrounded by cornfields. We're in central Pennsylvania, and there are lots of cornfields here. My house overlooks a cornfield too. My dad bought the corn for today at an auction. He went to a produce auction yesterday morning where local farmers bring their goods to sell, and he bought a skid load of corn. This corn was especially on the large side. The kernels are large, the cobs are large. So we were pretty happy. It's really flavorful and juicy. This was a good find. After the corn is husked, we pass it through a de-silking machine. The machine has bristles inside and rubs over the corn while spraying it down with water and removes most of that silk, which saves a lot of time. My dad rents this machine every year, and it is definitely worth it. Once the corn is clean, it gets loaded into a clean pillowcase. My parents have just found that this is the easiest system for lugging these loads from the desilking machine to the pot where it gets boiled. The corn is then blanched, so it's boiled for 3 minutes. That's just enough time to kill off the enzymes that can ruin texture and flavor when it's being preserved. And then after those 3 minutes, it's immediately plunged into cold water to stop the cooking process. Typically, when food is blanched, it goes straight from being boiled to being submerged in ice. But my parents have found in the past that with this enormous volume that we're working with, plunging the corn into ice right away just meant that they were making ice runs all day. So they worked out a system with 3 tubs where it's placed into some cold water, moved into another tub of cold water, and then finally moved over to the ice. This preserves the ice a little bit. We only had to make 3 ice runs on this day. So pretty.
Yeah.
Look at that color. It's vibrant. Finally, after the corn has been blanched, comes the most time-consuming part of this process, and that's cutting the corn from the cob and placing it in bags. Most of us freeze our corn. Corn can also be pressure canned, but freezing it is really great for good texture and flavor. And honestly, it just shortens the preservation process. I'll be taking home about 30 quart bags today of corn, and some of the families here are taking home more. So it would take us a really long time to can all of this. I'm happy to put mine in the freezer. corn, please?
Yeah.
Come here.
Corn, please, Mama. This is greedy corn.
Doesn't look like that. Hi, sweetie. What are you doing? Eating. Oh, I saw that. Here, let me get... In the past, we've always cut the corn from the cobs using knives, but this year Mom bought a few corn prep peelers just as an experiment to try, and they were great. I think we'll buy more next year and we'll just use them exclusively. The corn peeler was easier to use than the knife. It made for faster work, but also it meant that some of the younger kids could get involved. Kids that wouldn't have been able to hold a knife were able to use this tool no problem, and so that meant everybody could help. I've never used this before.
We just do the sharp side, see this?
Uh-huh.
And now just peel.
Yummy, right, Jamie?
And the whole sheet comes down. That's cool.
Oh, destroy.
Not the longest?
Yeah. A little chilly today. Oh, yes,
I love it.
one strip.
Feels like the beginning of fall.
It does. It feels like the weather's turning.
You want another piece, Jamie? I need to get
Melissa and Jamie are going to Bible school this week?
I already get all of it. Mama, this just took a few peels and then I'm done. Like, more peels and then I'm done.
Okay, try not to waste, okay? I
I'm not.
corn left on there.
Well,
You're doing a great job.
that's hard to get off.
Why don't you pass them to me when you're done? That one. Two doggies. Nothing's waste. Lydia fell asleep. I was saying she had field hockey this morning.
On these family food preservation days, I really do see that many hands make light work. We bagged about 180 bags of this corn into quart bags, and I just can't imagine how long it would have taken me if I was just working alone to freeze my year's supply of corn. But doing it together, we all left with enough for the year, and that is really gratifying.
Ready, lift.
When we finished bagging corn, the cobs and the husks were loaded onto my dad's tractor, and he will drive them down the road to my uncle's cornfield, which is not far off, and they'll be deposited in his field as compost to fertilize next year's corn. We loaded up carts with all of the corn that we were taking home and loaded them into our cars, and the day was done. I laid the bags flat and stacked them in a box in the freezer so that they could freeze in flat stacks, and then I was able to stack a few of them in a basket in my freezer for easy reach, and I could just restock that basket from the bottom of the freezer whenever I need more. Thanks for joining me and my family for another corn day. I ended up with more corn than I expected, probably a little more than I need because we had extra. So I normally use mine for corn chowder. If you have any favorite corn recipes, send them my way. I've got lots on hand. I look forward to sharing more with you next week, and I wish you all the best in your own projects. I'll see you next week.